okay? So suppose that both Homer and this coin are quantum mechanical systems, okay? So that's why it's quantum mechanical Homer. So Homer could be, for instance, a depolarization of a photon, okay? And this could be, well, not a polarization, it could be any other quantum system that's going to jump all over here. And this coin could actually be represented by the spin of an electron, okay? The point here is that what Bart is going to do, that he's going to manipulate a quantum laboratory in which he will basically he will apply a unitary operator to this quantum mechanical object and will interact with his dad, with Homer, so that once Bart has tossed the coin once, Homer will actually happen to be, as we would say, in a quite relaxed way, an ambiguous way, but we would say, when translating this behavior into plain words, we would say that Homer happens to be in two different sites simultaneously. So once the coin has been tossed, Homer is going to be in these two sites, and if we measure Homer, then the probability of finding Homer on site -1 is going to be 0.5, which is also the probability of finding Homer in site number 1. And if we toss the coin again, then Homer will happen to be in 3 different positions simultaneously before measuring. And if we measure, then the probability of finding Homer in site number -2, 0, or 2 will be 0.25, 0.25 for the streams, and 0.5 for the one in the middle. And eventually, if we keep tossing the quantum mechanical coin and quantum mechanical Homer keeps on going over the line, we would produce probability distributions of this kind, okay? That if we contrast the behavior of this, of these probability distributions with the one that we would expect to have for classical random walks, we see there is a huge difference, not only on the shape of the probability distributions, but also on the fact that the probability distributions that are produced by quantum walks cannot be classified as Markov chains or Markov processes, because depending on the initial condition of the system, we shall have different shapes for the probability distributions. And that could be advantageous for the development of new quantum algorithms. Okay? A few examples, now I'm done with the math, okay? So a few examples of the research that we've done in my group in the field of quantum walks. First, there is this comprehensive review that we published in 2012. I'm working now on producing, the 10 years later version. Hopefully I'll finish this year. There's also this work that we published last year, in which we use both quantum walks and quantum tunneling for solving very hard k-set instances. It's a paper which is freely available. We also use quantum walks together with very dear colleagues from Egypt, Ahmed and Bassem, as well as Wojciech, who's a Polish scientist, and Carol Fung from China. We work on how to use quantum walks for doing data encryption in a 5G Internet of Things scenario. And finally, there is this paper that we published in 2020, and this is a branch of our research that we've been nurturing since then. And it's basically focusing on the following problem. Suppose that you have a lot of biological data that corresponds to a particular species, and that data is about mutations. It's about the genotype of that species, meaning the genes of that species, and different mutations that several members of that species have been going through. The goal of this paper, the goal of this research branch that we've been working on since 2019 is to use quantum walks in order to identify in this kind of a massive networks, biological data networks, in which parts of these networks there will be mutations, for which there will also be changes in the actual body structure, or the in the physical structure of the members of the species that have been going through that mutation. Because the thing is that, you see, for many of the mutations that we go through in our lives, we just don't even notice it because they have no impact whatsoever on the physical structure of our body. But some other mutations certainly have a severe effect. So the goal of this research is to find out by using quantum algorithms and in particular quantum walks when that happens and how.